Hey, thanks for tuning in to Mad Minds TV. I'm Trey Little. This week's focus is on emotional regulation and how that impacts well-being. And this aligns with my current profession as well as my passion. However, I'm not a medical professional. So when we're looking at this study, I'm only going to focus on well-being, emotional regulation, self-determination, and how that affects relationships. 7 studies were reviewed, and I gravitated towards a study called It was published in 2021, and the authors are, I'm paraphrasing from here, and the reference is below the video. The study starts off discussing how nurses have to regulate their emotions at home and even at work. And that requires a lot of emotional labor. They're required to be empathetic, determined, as well as concerned about the well-being of their patients themselves, their support network, at home and at work. And this is where the term called surface acting comes into play, which can be viewed as a person displaying an emotional state to fit in with social norms, even if the emotional state they're displaying on the outside doesn't match how they truly feel on the inside. The study then reminds us how important a motivated or self-determined nurse is because of all the tremendous things they have to do throughout the day when it comes to patients, themselves, and their social support network. And this is where self-determination theory comes into play. That looks at autonomy, it looks at competence, and it looks at relatedness. Because those things are required when maintaining relationships and focusing on not only their well-being, their patients' well-being, and their support network's well-being. And the authors then use this to actually introduce a theoretical framework that looks at surface acting. It combines location, job satisfaction, and it links that to psychological well-being. So surface acting, displaying emotions to fit in with social norms, whether you feel that way on the inside. And the question is, where are you surface acting? Are you doing it at home, or are you doing it at work, or are you doing it at both places? And then how satisfied are you with your job? And all of that links to the psychological well-being. The study then provides the hypothesis, the method, how the data was collected, analyzed, the results, the discussion, and then the implications. And to sum it up, being determined or being self-determined is not always a positive if a person doesn't have the right social support network. Meaning a person could be very motivated and a person could have the great support network at home, but they may not have that support network at work, and then it takes a lot of emotional labor and surface acting. Person can be motivated, have a great social support network at work, and not have one at home, and then same thing, surface acting, emotional labor. But the authors do provide a potential solution. They say create an environment that promotes social support as well as professional development, because that can increase buy-in and may allow a person to let their guard down and have to stop surface acting and use less emotional labor. However, this is how I interpreted the study. You do me a favor, you read it, and let me know if you interpretate it differently than I. Now, this study actually brought up a lot of questions, because what are the long-term implications for people who actually have to surface act at home and at work, because they may not have a social support at those locations? What does that do to their overall well-being, physically and mentally? And how long can a person actually surface act, and what happens when trauma happens? So when somebody's hit with a traumatic experience or stressors come and they're being required to surface act all day, how does that affect their ability to surface act? From the conversations that I've had with people, what people have highlighted is that they use their car as their safe space. Meaning some people who drive 2 hours, an hour to work in the morning and an hour to work in the evening, they use that 1 hour period to decompress and to use that as their psychological safe space. However, I'm all ears to what you think. I'm all ears to what you do. And for myself, I actually walk. I spend a lot of time outside, and those are actually how I decompress emotionally and even sometimes socially. Thanks again for checking out Mad Minds. Don't forget to leave comments below because I'm very curious what you do and what you've seen. As always, stay mad, stay sharp, and be well. Thanks again. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.